really need to consider watering our trees and shrubs throughout the fall and into the winter, and maybe even into next spring as we go into next year, to make sure that these plants are able to make it through the season. One of the things to think about when watering is making sure that we're not putting down water directly at the base of the plants. We want to stay away 6 inches to a foot from the base of the plant. We can cause some injury, increase our chances of rot and that sort of thing, so we want to stay away from there. And then when we're talking about how far around the tree, you know, with new trees like the one I'm standing next to, it was just recently planted, so we know where the root zone is, so we can soak this area. But we might also want to put some water down around the surrounding area, because that water will be kind of sucked into the dry soil. So we want to moisten the entire zone. With a bigger tree, you want to aim for the drip zone, depending on the tree. Go beyond that if you feel like, especially with deciduous trees, the roots far exceed the drip zone, so go out as far as you feel comfortable. With a conifer, so an evergreen, a pine or a spruce, you're going to want to go 5 to 10 feet away from the drip zone to try to get out as much of the root zone as you can. As far as the amount of water you put down, we want to moisten the soil. 12 to 18 inches seems like a realistic amount. You can use a stiff wire or a rod of some sort to go down there and make sure that you're getting the water that deep. A general rule is about 10 gallons per inch of circumference around the tree. So you can use things like a 5-gallon bucket with some holes drilled in the bottom to help measure that. That will slowly let it soak in, and that will give you a good idea. Usually 5 minutes at a low rate on your hose will equal about 10 gallons, so that will give you kind of a general rule of thumb. A couple things to remember when watering: we want to avoid frozen soil, so if it's very cold out, we could hold off on watering then. And as far as frequency, with new trees like this, I'm going to want to continue to water these once a week. We'll check the soil each time, but at least weekly we'll check it and water it if we need to. With bigger trees, we want to look for once or twice a month, trying to get it well soaked, and again checking beforehand to make sure that we're not oversaturating the soils. You can overdo it, so we don't want to overdo it. We'll force all the oxygen out of the soil, so we don't want to do that. But we want to make sure it's evenly moist around that drip zone, and if we need to add moisture, then we'll schedule that monthly.